a coffee shop in a city, which is every coffee shop in every city on a day, which is every day. Hello, friends, and welcome to this beautiful episode of Barista Unfiltered. I'm your host, Jodie Lee.
And I'm Austin Miller.
And we're thrilled that you're here with us today. I'm hesitant to say which number of this is hopeful that lost episode 29 will be recovered. We had the elusive Molly Bush in our studio, sort of, talking to us. Unfortunately, there was some weird static, crackly business, and so it is possible that episode is lost forever. But for now, I'm holding out hope that we will recover it. And so I'm going to placehold episode 29 for Molly Bush. And today's episode is going to be episode 30, I think. I think that's how we're doing it. Anyhow, we have Cydni Patterson with us today. She is a barista at Caffe Driade in Chapel Hill. Yes, you know that Austin and I love Caffe Driade, and I was lucky enough to be popping through Chapel Hill just a few months ago in June, and wandered right into Cydni's world and just fell in love with her instantly. So we're gonna get to know her. Just know that I only know about 5 minutes of her, so it's gonna be a wild adventure because the three of us really don't know each other. So welcome to the podcast, Cydni.
Hi. Thank you
Welcome,
so much
Cydni.
for inviting me.
Well, the first thing we always want to know of our guests is what kind of coffee did you drink this morning?
So I made a Yama Silverton. It's like the immersion brewer setting of it, because you can do like a manual pour over too. And I used Fourth Dimensions Claudia, and it was really delicious.
I feel like you just spoke a different language.
That was a lot.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I don't know any of that. What is immersion brewing?
So it's kind of like a French press, but it's shaped very aesthetically pleasing. And so but it's like the one where you can do a French press, or it has a valve that you can turn, and then it'll turn into a manual pour over. But that is kind of more difficult because it's kind of like suspended, so I can't really weigh it out. So I just do the French press version of it.
Now, did you do that at home, or did you go up to Driade and do that?
I do that at home, actually. Yeah, I probably live like 8 minutes away from Driade, so I could definitely go there whenever, but I was easing into the morning today, so I'm at home.
So you've got some good equipment in your own home.
Yeah, I have been working in coffee for a while, and Durham it's not like, so I live in Durham, but it's like on 15501, so I'm 10 minutes away from almost everywhere, which is awesome. And I have a friend who started this whole thing on Instagram. It's called Get You Some Gear, and baristas apply for it, and they give you free gear, and this was in it. So I'm like super, super blessed to be a part of that too. So I have a lot of stuff I've been trying out.
It's on Instagram?
Get You Some Gear.
Like it's coffee gear?
So if you were a barista, and it's really difficult to up your skill set off the clock, but you kind of have to be competitive, and always be getting better and stuff. And stuff costs, coffee stuff is so expensive. So he has some connections, and he has been getting people to donate things, and he's just been sharing it with people, and he'll ship it to you and all of that. So it's really cool.
That's really neat. Have you heard of that, Austin?
This is the first. I've never heard of that.
All right.
And where is he based at? He's based out of Durham?
Yes. And I can text y'all the Instagram and stuff. He's a super loving person. It's really awesome.
So how long have you been in the coffee industry?
Going on 4.5, 5 years.
And what got you interested?
I was working at Whole Foods and I was absolutely miserable and I just needed a job. And my friend was like, hey, let's apply to this coffee shop. And I was like, I like coffee. Cool. But I'm originally from the Midwest. So my idea of coffee is like, diner coffee. Something you get at like 3 o'clock in the morning with pancakes and syrup and stuff. Like, not this whole like specialty like stuff that I'm into now. And so I applied to the job and I got it and I was like, oh, okay. And it's one of the first like jobs that kind of pushed me and put me in a non-comfort zone. And so then I fell in love with it because I was like so bad at it. And it just like, I was so bad. And then I was like, oh, I need to work at this because I really don't like being bad at things. And so once I got into the nuance of the drinks and the pour overs and all of that, I was like, wow. And so now the coffee world is stuck with me probably to their secret.
And that first job you're talking about, was that Driade or was that somewhere else?
No, that was at Joe Van Gogh in Woodcroft. Yeah.
Is that a small coffee shop, like owned privately?
It is owned privately, but it is not small. They have a couple in Durham, and like kind of like the bulk of my coffee career has been there, which is a good thing and a bad thing, but it's given me an opportunity to like kind of like find my way to Caffe Driade. So, and then like hopefully learn more and grow more in that. So I have to like say that positive about them at least.
So how long have you been at Driade then?
I was pretty fresh when I met you. Like, I started in April.
In more ways than one, you were pretty fresh.
What?
Yeah, you were so funny. Like, do you remember our conversation?
Yeah, I do. And I'm like, oh my God, this woman probably thinks I'm crazy. But
wait, you didn't think she was crazy?
No, she's so nice.
She's definitely a friend. So what happened is I go into Driade and you know what I'm after. I just want a little cappuccino or cortado situation. And then I am hoping that there's going to be some Google Hop like bakery items because I do love me a chocolate croissant there. And there was not one because they have a different bakery. I'll let you explain all that.
Yeah. Now it's delicious. East Durham Bake Shop is delicious, and you doubted you doubted my suggestion, but I'm like, they're amazing, and you will enjoy this.
And I was like, where is this East Durham Bake Shop? I don't even know what this is about. And she's like, well, it's probably in East Durham.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
But I didn't mean it like that. Like, I just blurt things out because I couldn't think of the street, and I'm like, well.
I know, it was so funny. I was like, well, okay. All right, I'm gonna take this pastry and eat it and trust that you are telling me it is delicious, and it was. You were right on. And then I was like, she needs to be on the show with that sass mouth. Did we lose you? No. There you go. Okay. So listeners, we are recording on Skype this time, and we don't know how this is going to go. We're just crossing our fingers and hoping for the best. Usually we use the Google Hangout through YouTube. So if it's a little glitchy today, bear with us. We're going to figure this out by the next episode for sure. So you've been at Driade like for just a few months. Who hired you? Like, what's your management? What's it like over there now? We don't know. Yeah. Austin worked there for 100 years.
But this was like over 10 years ago.
So my managers are awesome. And what I have to say about Driade that I like is there is a clear educational path. I knew Thurman. He's amazing. And he's the head trainer at Carborough Coffee Roasters. And I texted him because I was like, hey, like, I need to make a career change. Like, do you have any suggestions? And he's like, of course. Like, come meet my boss. We'll see if you're a good fit. And I ended up being a good fit. And so, and it's wonderful. Like, I've learned a lot. Like, I've been doing coffee for a while. And sometimes, like, when you're kind of an old head, you feel like you know everything. And it's really nice to get into a place and I learned something new. And Michelle is such a very like attentive boss. Like if I have any questions, she answers them. She's like the head manager of Carborough Coffee Roasters, so she kind of keeps OpenEye and Driade up to snuff. And she's really wonderful and she's good. She's good at what she does. So it's really nice. It's been a nice change in pace to have like a very like clear like this is what we do, and a lot of it was like stuff that I knew how to do, but I'm of the opinion that you can never like repetition is so important in everything, so like you can never hear too much like the right way to do things. So it was exciting to be learning again and stuff like that.
It sounds like do you ever work shifts over at OpenEye, or do you just do Driade?
No, I have not. Sorry. I just do Driade. I've been to OpenEye quite a bit. I went to high school in Chapel Hill, and I have friends who live in Carborough and stuff. And I don't know if OpenEye was there when I was in high school because I'm a little old, but I'm often in Carborough, so I've been through. It's a really nice spot.
It sounds like it's a little bit more integrated. Like it sounds like the roastery has grown, because when I worked at Driade, it was just like Scott and Elizabeth, and there wasn't like this management team that we had any contact with. They were very much like separate entities at the time. So it's interesting to hear you having contact with people over there and with the company, different management positions that we didn't have any of that back when I worked there. We still had a lot of education and that kind of thing, but they were very separate. So that's why I asked.
So it's like the roaster has sort of merged with the coffee shops. And
yeah.
that's new since you've been gone since 2007, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure Carborough Coffee Company has grown a lot in the interim.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I want to know is when are we going to be able to order the coffee online?
Ooh, I don't know, but that's a really good idea.
I need that. Because when I come to Chapel Hill, I can't pack enough in my bags, to get home on. But I can't figure out how to buy it online.
I have a couple of questions about what you guys are doing at Caffe Driade these days. So I'm wondering, we had one espresso roast, and I think it was like a blend that we used at the time. So I'm wondering, what do you guys just use one standard espresso every day? Do you switch? Do you use single source? What do you use these days?
So we use the Piedmont blend, and it's super awesome, and that's our main blend. We now at OpenEye, because they have expanded to offering a single origin, which is exciting and is my favorite type of espresso. But the Piedmont is good, and it hits all the notes that like it's one of those broad things that like if you like it super bright, it can be super bright for you. If you like it kind of mellow, it can be mellow for you too. So I don't know what we're going to do in the future, but if you wanted single origin, you could go to Caffe like OpenEye and get that.
Okay. So right now, like at Driade, if I went and ordered a cappuccino, it would definitely be espresso for the Piedmont blend.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's fairly. So I don't think that that's what it was called back when. I think it was called house blend, but I'm not sure. And then we would switch every day. We would do a different, like, do you still just do regular brewed coffee, like in a big urn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so you
And that
switch the
switches every
varietals
day.
every day. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's pretty similar, actually, to what we used to do. Do you still squeeze orange juice and lemonade every day?
Yeah.
And what about Driade shakes? You say, hopefully you still have Driade shakes, right?
Yes, we do have those.
And you hate making them like everyone has hated making them.
I'm not gonna say that I hate making them because I totally get them. They're delicious.
Yeah.
I actually, weirdly, where I work now, I miss the Driade shakes, and I sometimes find myself wishing we had ice cream so I could make one.
Do you make them at home?
I mean, you could, but I wouldn't have my, home espresso. Or I wouldn't be able to make, an actual like in shop sort of espresso. I mean, I could use a janky like home espresso machine, but it's not going to be the same.
And you don't have a mocha pot?
I don't have a mocha pot.
Oh. Well, that changes everything. I think we've lost Cydni, and this is very sad.
Could we do a pause and return, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. See if we can get back on here somehow.
She left, it says. And recorder join.
Okay, so now we're back. Maybe I can go in and edit this shit. Gah. Anyway, we were talking about Driade shakes, and Austin was saying he wishes that he had ice cream around so he can make some.
Believe it or not.
I mean, some people who are listening to this don't even know what a Driade shake is, and I'll just tell you, it's like the most delicious thing that you'll ever drink, eat, slather on yourself. It is so good. We used to call them fat fasts because you remember Tommy Lasunga used to be part of Slim Fast? He would sell Slim Fast. He'd be like, drink 2 of these shakes and it'll make you, slim fast. Do you remember that? Anyway, my friends and I, we would say, like, drink 2 of these shakes, talking about Driade shakes, and it'll make you fat fast. Because it's espresso. It's like cocoa powder with the sugar, right? Like hot chocolate cocoa powder. And espresso and then a little bit of milk. Is there anything else in it? That's it, isn't it?
And ice cream.
Ice cream, right. Vanilla ice cream. And then they blend that to perfection. I don't mean like a scoop of ice cream. I mean, it's like 2 pints of ice cream.
4 scoops of ice cream, actually, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of ice cream.
It's 4, right? Do you still do 4?
Yeah.
And it is super thick and super good. And you just you drink the whole thing through the brain freeze. It's so good.
I think the thing that like drove people crazy about it is like the ice cream would get super hard, so it was like really hard to scoop it sometimes, especially when you're like your wrist was tired or something.
Yeah.
So people would just be like, and then you gotta clean the blender, and then
yeah, it takes forever too. So the line is growing, and it's sort of a very stressful thing to do to a barista. But as a customer of Driade, like you can't help yourself sometimes. That's just what you want.
Yeah.
But they never really bothered me super bad, and like for they were kind of expensive compared to like a lot of the other things on the menu. So like you didn't have to. It's not like you made like 20 of them a day. Usually in one day I would bake a few, not that many.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still the case.
We don't make as many, and it's always okay. Like
yeah.
Is there any ice in it? There's no ice in it, is there?
No.
No, it's just straight up ice cream.
Ice cream, espresso, chocolate, and then you put some whipped cream on top.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Remember when you used to make espresso whipped cream?
Yeah. Espresso campana.
That's yummy.
We actually still do that at Spikes. We have one that's always available that's like a mocha whipped cream. And then we have like regular whipped cream. It's really good.
Oh.
I was wondering, do you guys do you do pour overs now?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and then do people order that frequently?
Yeah, like, you get it every now and then. More people are interested in like, oh, what do you mean by pour over? And I'm like, oh, you can have it out of a Chemex, like it's a manual brew. It's a
Yeah.
little bit more dialed in, but it's nice when we do get them.
Is that time consuming? Is that like kind of like with your flow? Is that kind of like, okay, I have to step off and do this thing? Um,
What I like about Driade is everything is kind of within reach. So it's easy to, like, yeah, you have to take the necessary time to do it right. But if you're paying attention and like in between like the pours and stuff, you can do other things. So
yeah.
it's never too bad.
And you always have two people back there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's different. Yeah, because when I used to work there, like in the morning shift, I'd be by
Mhm.
myself from 6 to noon, like just me. Uh,
Oh wow.
yeah. So that's part of why I was like, God, how do you guys do pour overs? Like I can't imagine like trying to do that in the middle of a rush. But if you have two people, that would be a little different, I think.
Yeah. Which is nice. I'm always pro like more people behind the bar, like reasonably more people behind the bar. Yeah.
Yeah. After a while, if there's too many people, then it's like you get less
Yeah.
done somehow. Like if
Yeah.
the people, you like, do you have that shift change where it's like the people from the morning are still there and the night people are there too, and so there's like four people behind the counter and like nobody's getting anything done because it's like so many people back there.
Yeah. And everything's so cool. We all like get along, so it's like, oh, we're like, hey, how's everything going? So I know I'm real bad about that. I like to chat with my coworkers.
Oh
So
yeah. Do you usually work the morning shift, mid shift, night shift, or all?
I'm a morning person mainly. I do a couple of night shifts too, but I'm
Yeah.
a morning person. Yeah.
Mornings are the best.
Yeah.
I always like the morning shift better at Driade. Although the night shift can be fun because you can hang out afterwards, have some wine, like chill with people.
Yeah. I'm definitely like a morning person, and so like I love the morning shifts. And then I like go and I take a nap, and then I do the rest of my day. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, what's next for you? It sounds like you're looking for coffee, like a career in coffee.
yeah, I love it, and I kind of want to put my hat into the coffee truck world and have my own coffee truck, so I can like travel and move around and make really good coffee and try different beans and stuff like that. And so I just been like kind of putting my ducks in a row and figuring out how I'm going to do that, manage that. But so keep looking out because hopefully it'll be like sooner than later that I'm doing that.
Wow.
Well, when you get it set up, you should contact us so we can put it in the show notes for this show.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
totally
like
will.
keep in touch with us about that.
Okay, cool. That'd be awesome.
That sounds like a really great. Do you want to go to like festivals and like that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think I want to do like a festival, like kind of vibe during the summer, and then like because of all of the new housing development, why not just bring a really good coffee truck to them and just like park right in front of them and be like, oh, there you go. You don't even have to like leave your complex. You have coffee right here.
Are you gonna play music? You know how the ice cream man has his music? What's the
Yeah.
coffee truck lady? What is coffee truck lady music?
I don't know. Probably like something inappropriate. I don't know. I probably won't play music. I probably won't play music. Yeah. I. So there's this. It used to be a truck. but now it has a place. It's called Namin. It's in Durham, and they have like really good like Korean food and stuff. And they play like really good music in their spot. And I would like play good music, but I don't know if I would have like a theme song like going through the neighborhood. She'd be like, "Oh, there's Cydni, the crazy coffee lady."
I guess it could be like any of the ringtones on an iPhone. Like everybody would recognize that as a morning wake up song.
Yeah, like that's genius. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
you could
that is
just play ringtones.
just be like, what is that? And I'm like, I'm here.
Oh, you know which one would be good is the one that goes do 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 do. You could do like even the Skype number or the Skype song.
Yeah.
Do,
Yeah.
do 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 do. Anyway, that could be fun.
Now, have you seen anybody else that does like something similar to what you want to do?
So I spend the majority of my time split between Chapel Hill and Durham, and so in Durham there's 2 coffee trucks that are both super awesome. Caffe Driade and Ecology is out of the Airstream, and so I know both of them, but I'm friends with Michael who does Ecology, and he uses Passenger Coffee, and he's actually like one of my favorite shops to go to, even though it doesn't have the seating. Like it's just like he's a very like personable person, and then you like go up and you have all these like new coffees that I like. So Durham Chapel Hill has a lot of like really good roasters, so you can get really good coffee locally, but then like I like to try new things, and so like I like to see what everybody else is doing. I'm very nosy, and so it's nice to have someone like him who's kind of like a kind of new wave, and he's like really cool, and so you get to try different things on there. So he's like one of my favorite places to go when I am off, and I'm just like walking downtown Durham, and I'm like, oh, there's the Airstream, and boom, there's Michael. So, and I talked to him about like like what tips he has towards it, which he's like super nice. That's what I like about coffee too, like competitive, but no person drinks one cup of coffee from one place. So it's like we can share the same group of people. We're not competitors. Like it is competitive, but we don't have to be competitors, and that's nice to have like an industry where it's like, oh, okay, like we're doing different things and we're gonna vibe with different people. So we don't have to be like, oh, this is a secret, And that's nice.
You can collaborate without, weird jealousy or whatever going on. So are you imagining living in this truck, or are you imagining like living in a separate dwelling and driving the truck during the days?
Definitely living in a separate dwelling and driving the truck. I'm really bad about like work-life balance. Like most people, like so I have to have like that separation of like goodbye. Let me park and let me lock the door, and that's it.
Yeah.
And go home.
So what do you do when you're not making coffee and thinking about your business that way? Like, do you have hobbies?
Yeah, I'm super into like powerlifting, and then I like to do some perler beads are my new like cute thing to do, and I really like Bon Appetit YouTube videos. Like if I'm not doing anything productive, it's because I'm watching Brad Leone like on It's Alive, or pretending that I know anything that Claire is talking about with baking, and it's just so peaceful and calming with them. So
do you do a lot of baking and cooking yourself?
Yeah, I'm super. It's a necessity. I really like to eat. It's one of my favorite things to do. And so I was like,
and with all that powerlifting, you're gonna have to eat a lot, right?
Yeah. Probably a little less snacking than what I do, but yeah. And so I like to make different foods, and it's like an easy way. Food is like an easy way to get to know different cultures and different regions, and so like it's I can go get some food, learn how to cook it, kind of do it really bad the first time, and then do better, and then be like, oh, okay, I kind of understand where you're coming from that like aspect and stuff. So yeah, I really like cooking.
That could fit into your whole food truck future where you're making your baked goods. Is that what you're thinking on?
Yeah, or like I have a couple of friends that are seriously gifted in it, and I'm not seriously gifted. Like, I think I'm really, really, really good at coffee, and I can say that. But baking, like my mom makes the absolute best cookies, and my friend Sally makes the best key lime pie that I've ever had in my entire life.
That's my favorite dessert in the world, key lime pie.
Yeah, she's so
you're
gifted.
making me hungry.
And I've met these people other than my mom. Like, I met my mom because she's my mom. But, like, the majority of my friends are coffee folks because, you know, it's kind of like, I don't want to say a cult because that has, like, a negative connotation. But, like, you work in this industry, and so all your friends work in this industry. And so and coffee people are so weird and so gifted. Weird and gifted folks.
It's true. So. That's why we interview them.
Yeah.
Well, you said you're from the Midwest. Did you get to Chapel Hill, like, because your family moved there?
Yes. So I was born in the north side of Chicago, so like Evanston area, and then I spent the majority of like my childhood, elementary kind of school there. Then we went to Philadelphia, Mississippi, which is as terrible as that sounds. And then we found our way. We found our way to Chapel Hill, and it was like, wow, this is really nice. Like, you don't have terrible winters, and like people are decent, so it's good. And they've just been stuck with me ever since. So since high school, I've been in like the Chapel Hill, Durham, Raleigh area, and I plan on being here for a while. It's really nice. Like, it's beautiful. You have so much so close, which is nice. The beach is close, all the things. Yeah.
It's nice that you were able to be, I mean, I hate to say this, but to be somewhere that you really didn't like before you got there, hopefully like raised your appreciation of where you are too.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, sometimes if you grow up somewhere and you're always there, then you're just like kind of always dreaming to get out. Or wondering what it would be like. But if you've been living other places and then you arrive there and you're like, wow, well, I've been here and I've been here, and actually this place hits a lot of sweet spots, you know, that's cool.
It's nice to have like that perspective, you know, like and I like to travel, so I can still like, you know, oh, is this my place? And I always like come back to this area, and I'm like, okay, it's not too bad. I like it. It's enough.
Yeah. We miss it. I miss it every day.
I miss the rent.
Yeah.
I miss a lot. I miss a lot about North Carolina, but the first thing that jumps into my head is the rent.
And the second thing is cheaper. Med Deli.
Yeah.
Is that still there?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. It's still delicious.
It has expanded probably since you've been there, Austin. Like, they increased like where you can sit, the seating area, and then they tacked on a market, so you can go buy like the foods that they use and the spices they use. It's incredible. And they have, I don't know if you were there when they were baking the pita like right in front of you. So they have a pita oven. Yeah. So they're just cranking that stuff out, and it's grown with wheat that they farm in Graham. So it's they're getting like super local with all the foods. It's fantastic.
You can taste it. Like, it's delicious.
It is so good. Well, do you have any more questions, Austin?
No, nothing that's popping out. I mean, I could go on.
We
all
could
day.
go on. I know. Well, Cydni, we always like to ask, like, what are the 3 top coffee shops that you've been to in your life?
In my life.
Okay. In your life, like, what are the 3 that resonate the most, and why, and what are they called, and all that stuff? Because we might want to visit them.
Okay, so it's not actually a coffee shop, but it's a place where it's in downtown Durham. It's called International Delights, and they have Lebanese coffee. And that is the most impactful place because, number one, I used to skip high school with my friend who had a car, and we would go there and like eat their like pita pizzas and be terrible, terrible children. And Lebanese coffee was my first like introduction to coffee that wasn't sitting on a pot for like 20 hours. And I was like, wow, this is exciting. There's like flavors and everything. And it's been in the coffee, like it's been a part of Durham for like 27 years. My second, I have to, you have heard of it?
I have never heard of it.
Oh my goodness. Next time you're in, like, let's get coffee. Because they only have one coffee drink, but it's absolutely, it's perfect. And then I have to name drop Caffe Driade just because it's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And it's really nice. I'm a city girl. I'm very much a city girl, but I can appreciate the beauty of it all and like being able to walk. And I used to go there when I was in high school and stuff and like just sit out and study. And so it was really nice. And then Cocoa Cinnamon, it's in Durham, but their Lakewood location, number one, they have churros. And number two, like I really think Areli is doing a lot of amazing things with coffee, and it's nice to like add a different perspective to the Triangle coffee climate. And the roastery's there. There's a lot of like learning that could be done from that spot. So it's like really nice. So and then I'll do an honorable mention of Ecology because like Michael's really cool. So
yeah, we gotta check all of this stuff out. You're into a lot of the coffee scene in Chapel Hill area that we have not experienced, at least for me, right?
I've been to Cocoa Cinnamon, and that's really great in Durham, and that seems to a lot of people. That seems to be like the big one in Durham these days, huh? Like
yeah, it is, and I'm glad that they're successful. Like they have definitely grown, but I think they have like grown with intention. And I don't know that a lot of coffee places that want to grow kind of take like, so it's exciting to be so close to everything.
So we kind of had a little freezing up moment where you said it's exciting that they're growing, but they're growing with intention. Do you remember what you said right after that? Like,
I feel like I think a lot of coffee places secretly want to be Starbucks, but they don't because like once you just get big for no reason, like then it's really hard to keep quality. And I think that they've grown with intention so they can like keep quality going and stuff. And I think like Caffe Driade and Carborough Coffee, like Open Eye, Caffe Driade, like it's similar. Like you're growing, but you're growing with a purpose. You're not just like putting stuff there.
Yeah. And in both of those coffee shops, you know, there's a performance series, there's ways for the community to come together.
Yeah.
And I think that always makes a coffee shop feel more organic and more in service in a sense.
Yeah.
Well, Driade too, you could package up everything that Driade does and everything that Driade offers, but you could never package up that location.
Yeah.
and put it somewhere else.
Yeah. There's nothing like that place. There's just nothing like it.
But I appreciate that they take that location and also do a fantastic job with what they serve, because a lot of times, you know, you go to a place that's like beautiful, it's on the water, it's obviously going to bring in tourists and that kind of thing, and then they rest on their laurels, rest on location, and I feel like Driade doesn't do that, and I hope it never does.
Yeah, Michelle's doing great with like keeping new things coming, and like Thurman is doing great with keeping like training and stuff like that. And so like I think I'm excited to see like how Driade even just develops to be like even more part of the community.
Yeah. Well, it's a real gift because they could just be, you know, sitting back saying we're iconic, we're you know, we have this amazing location, we don't really have to worry about, you know, putting out a good product at all. And I hope, hope that never happens.
Yeah. Well, listen, friends, we got to wrap this thing up or we could be here all day. As we end the episode, I again want to thank Cydni Patterson for being with us today and thank all our listeners for joining us. If you've got a barista friend or a coffee industry expert that you think needs to be featured on our show, just write to us and give us your suggestions. The email address is info at baristaunfiltered.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And if you have time to write us a review on iTunes, please do that. It helps us get noticed by more listeners. And what I saw, we've kind of been on a break for the last couple months. Some of you may have noticed. Austin was traveling, then I was traveling, and then, summer is just a fun time. So what I noticed on the last stats sheet that I got from our handler of the podcast is that we have 95 active listeners. So we're really close to having like 100 real listeners, which is so exciting. And we're over 2,000 downloads currently. So we are growing and we're just thrilled about it. So we're looking for more of that. If you can, write us up a review on iTunes, that actually does get out there in a way that just sharing the podcast with your friends doesn't. So we also want to thank our podcast patrons. Thank you guys for supporting our podcast. We appreciate you. And if you want to join those cool kids, head over to patreon.com/baristaunfiltered. Support the podcast. I'm Jodie Lee.
And I'm Austin Miller.
Y'all be good. Stay caffeinated, friends. Bye.